they have taken something early in the morning, they feel very energetic. They will not sleep because they are very active.
Okay.
So don't forget.
So it's an option.
It's an option, but they must eat something, not necessarily very heavy, not necessarily.
Okay.
But they can eat any food at all early in the morning like that before class starts.
First, what should we be putting into our children's lunch boxes? Okay. What should we be sending them off to school with?
So I would begin with the premise that whatever you're putting in their lunchbox should be balanced. And then I'll build on to what a balanced diet consists of. When we talk about a balanced diet, it means that it has the right proportions from all the food groups. So you have your whole grains in there, you have your vegetables, you have fruits, you have protein, and you have some fat. And so you should ensure that the child has all of this packed. But what I've observed is that most people will just cook large carbohydrate portions.
Like
rice, plenty rice, put some small tomato stew on it, put in the child's lunchbox and add some calipo. Sorry I mentioned a brand, but add some fruit juice, onto the lunch box for the child to take to school. We do not encourage that the children take these sweetened drinks to school because most of them are just water, sugar, and color.
So what should they be taking in place of all these? A fruit. So no drink.
No drink. If you want to give your child a drink, squeeze the juice. So let it be a fruit drink for the child.
A fresh fruit.
Exactly.
What about water?
You can add water.
Okay.
Yes, water is good for your child.
Let me add to that. Yes, the premise of balance that is very important. The same as saying the food must be nutritious, but I'm appealing to the child. The child should fall in love with it.
So it should be colorful.
Colorful. If you can use these vegetables to color it. I have the view that if you are going to give a food to your child, for the child to fall in love with it, that's what was done to us when we were growing up.
Especially vegetables.
Yes.
Children don't like vegetables.
They don't like it. If they can't take it sliced. Sometimes what you do then, you can tell beautiful stories about it. These things, we used to do it. We've stopped because we don't have time now. Let's go back to what we're doing. Now, for me, what goes into the lunch can include any food that the child eats. There was a lady friend with me last time I was talking about this. I said, have you considered sliced kinky and some pepper with some fish? Have you tried that for your child? So, Reverend, that's true. I think I can try that. I said, we love apapransa. We stop giving our children those foods. Try it. Let the child taste it with you. Taste it with the child. Tell a beautiful story about it because it is nutritious.
Okay. Now, we first mentioned a lot of different food groups to make up the balanced diet for the child to take to school.
Exactly.
Can you translate that into actual food for us?
Now, when we say food groups, now let me put it this way. Whatever you eat must provide you first energy. And energy will help you do everything. 2, must contain nutrients, the proteins, and also the vitamins and the minerals. Now, when we talk of the food groups, we have the energy food groups. Kenke is one, rice, banku, even bread, yakayaki, the plantain, your ampisi, the yam, plantain. They are no kind of food constitute energy foods. That's one group. Then the protein food groups. Now we have animal sources of protein and the plant sources of protein. Generally, meat, fish, the shrimps, the crabs, the snails, all that put together, they constitute the animal source of protein. So all of these form another group. We have the beans family. Generally, they constitute the plant source of protein in our foods. So that is the next group. So when we are talking of the second group, we are talking of beans, the fish, the shrimps, the crabs, the snails put together. Milk product, they are good animal source of protein. So that is the second level. The next level will be the vitamin, the minerals. Then we move to the area of the vegetables and the fruits. One thing I've observed in this country is that we don't start training our children with the love for fruits. Only few families do that. And when you start it very early with your children, they will always ask for it.
It becomes a part of them.
Part of them. They will go for it. They will ask for it. We should try that. Now, she mentioned the issue of the You ask whether there shouldn't be any drink. What would you prefer? Something in the box, you don't know the content. So, and that which you take the fresh fruit, you blend it for your child. Which one would you prefer as a mother?
Definitely the fresh one.
Because you know how you have prepared it.
You know the content.
You know the content. And then the content you are giving the child. So we are advocating that, look, that child going to school, you are preparing this child to become an adult, excellent in every area. But the issue of his food at that age is so important.
Okay, first, Reverend still didn't actually answer my question. I mean, you guys have talked about the various food groups. I want you to actually break it down and give us an ideal example or a few examples of what we should actually be putting in the, translates the food groups into the actual foods that we eat, maybe rice, chicken, this, that.
So let's say I'm a mother and I'm packing lunchbox. This is hypothetical since I don't have kids. I'm packing lunch for my child. So let's say I want to give my child wache, which is a good start because the legumes, that is the beans, will provide some nutrients, and then the rice also provides some nutrients, so they complement each other.
So you already have your protein and your carbohydrates with the wache right there.
Yes. If you cannot afford meat, people say nutrition is expensive. It can be as cheap as you want it to be. So if I have my beans and my rice and I can't even afford meat,
that's fine.
Yes, my child is fine. But let's say
very nice tip there.
Exactly.
The mothers are listening.
But let's say I'm a wealthy mother, so I can afford to add maybe an egg or some fish. I put it in there. And then I add the vegetables. He said children are picky eaters and they might not want the vegetables. So you can trick them. You can make some nice shapes, cut it in shapes. Or tell them, like I said, tell them beautiful stories about the veggies. Or make them very tiny so that the children
it's difficult to pick them out.
To pick them. You trick them.
Another very good tip.
Yeah.
Grind it.
Put it in, put it in the stew. Mix everything in the stew so that they don't even see the vegetables. So now you know that you have vegetables in there. Right. You have your protein, you have your rice, and then your carbohydrate. And then you add maybe a small orange or a finger of banana. Sometimes you force children to eat more than they need. You don't have to pack so much food for a child. So if you add just a little orange or a banana, your child is set. Fine. Add some water.
Okay.
And you're good.
What about wele with the wache in place of the egg and the fish you spoke about? Does wele have any nutrients?
Yes.
Yeah, a little, yes.
It has.
Yeah. So you can give the child wele.
Let me say something about this wele. Wele is animal source protein, but then in terms of this quality of the protein, it's not that high. Okay. But it's not too often.
Okay.
Not too often. And secondly, the way they prepare it before they sell it, leaves much to be desired. So let me chip this in. I don't know how often mothers prepare bean stew. If you do it, that along with the wache, with the yam, with the apaprensa, I'm very particular about.
I think you really like apaprensa.
I like it, but I think we can not necessarily. If we train our children to do it, this kind of local,
is it very nutritious?
It is, because we mix it with a lot of stew, the way we prepare it, fish, everything in there, packed together, juicy. It is good for them. We don't talk about these things. Okay. Our red beans and the plantain. You see, the question of this palm oil, they can use another oil to fry, to prepare the pepper and put on the beans. I believe that if we think more of our local food for our children, it is easier to prepare, and if you package it neatly for the child. And how do we get the children to love this food? It is when we teach them very early in life, talk to them about it. My greatest concern about these children is what they see on the television, adverts about some foods. They easily get hooked onto that.
And mothers, they see their other friends also bring to
and they
school.
Bring it to school. That's the second thing I want to talk about. What others bring to school. Mommy, why not this? Why not that? Do you see? You must convince your child that this is equally as good as that, or even better than that one, and give the reasons why. I talk about kinky, sliced, neatly packaged for the child. A lot of children like kinky. My last one asked for kinky and pepper. She's ready for it. People like it. See what the child likes locally. Too much of the rice.
Okay. What about a bit of sweet? I mean, they are children. What about some biscuits, maybe a chocolate, some toffees here and there?
Excellent.
I mean, they are children. They
Yes,
should
we
indulge a
understand. But
little
you see,
bit.
when they get used to those things, that's
When
what
they
they will
want it
always do
more.
more. Once a while, yes. I advise mothers that look, there are beautiful biscuits out there, but those with the high fiber content, that will help them more.
Okay.
Do you see?
Also, we hear a lot about whole grains
That's
being
what
a
I'm
good source of energy.
Yes.
What kind of foods do we mean when we say whole grains?
Okay.
So when we talk about whole grains, we are talking about things like maize, like wheat, like
Oats.
because the reason why they're called whole grains is because they haven't been very refined. So you have a lot of the fiber in it,
Or
and
the, raw how do you call it? The nutrients there.
Yeah.
So
If
those are very good sources
They
of
are
energy.
good sources.
Well,
of
the
energy.
whole grain bread
Okay.
is far nutritious
Okay.
than the white bread that we take.
Okay.
Even though some add few other things, but then whole grain bread is always more nutritious.
So what about you? We spoke about the fruits. What kind of fruits should we be giving them?
Any fruit your child would love to eat, you can give your child.
Are there any fruits that are not good or healthy for children?
No,
I don't know
not
yet.
that I know of. Every fruit provides a lot of minerals, a lot of vitamins, and even some fluid. If you take orange and watermelon, there's water in there. So fruits, whatever kind of fruit it is good for your child. So you just have to identify which ones your child likes, and then you offer those to the child.
I also want to add that sometimes try the mix fruit salad. The colors blend attracts them. You
I
chill
see
it.
some people also put milk on the fruit salad. Is that advisable? Can you put some milk?
You
For a
can
child.
do
That's
that.
delicious.
It is,
I like that.
yes, because we want to get them to love the fruit. If you do that, they get more attracted to it. You are doing them more good than harm.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay, finally, before we go, is there any food at all that we shouldn't be giving to our children to take to school?
I think all of the high-calorie drinks that I spoke about, you shouldn't let your child get hooked on them.
That is the one.
Because, yes, you shouldn't let them get hooked on them. So those sugary stuff, of course, like you said, once in a while,
Thank you.
It can be a treat.
it can be yes, but not a reward system, a treat. Because if you are using it as a reward system, then the child knows that
try
they
to be
can
good and always
and
try
then
to get
manipulate
it.
you. Yes, but it can be a treat,
okay.
So all of the high calorie foods out, all of the fast food. Some people would like to buy takeouts.
Some people do that.
Yes.
A lot of working mothers who don't
Mothers
have
work-
time and they
yes.
send their children off to school.
Yes.
With it. Is that good?
No, it
even
is
if it
not.
contains the right amount of nutrients.
Unless you
Maybe
can
rice and chicken, fried rice and chicken.
Once a while, you see, I want to mention something before we go. The way the food is packed, either if you don't pack it well, it can go bad. Most often hot and then you put in the packing time is not the best. Prepare it, let it have a room temperature before you pack it. That's so very good. The container must be neat, must be very clean. Wash it clean before you put it, because if you put it in the bag hot and you don't clean the pack very well, microorganisms will start working on it. So this must also be emphasized.
Right.
And any food that you can give your child at home, you can pack it in the right quantity combination for the child to take along. And if possible, tell the child the benefit of that particular food is taken along. Once it gets into her mind, he or she will come reminding you
Reminding you of it.
Mommy,
I want
what about the
more
other
of
one?
that one.
That is it. We must bring them up that way. And I'm sure we'll make the right impact on them.
Okay, all right. Thank you very much this morning. I'm sure a lot of parents are very grateful to you this morning for educating them on what they can pack for their children to go off to school. Thank you very much. But I think, Rich, first, you have something.
Yes, the conference. If you want more information on the nutrition conference, you can go to www.nutritionghana.org.
Okay.
And so if you go there, all of the information
is there,
concerning the conference
and you can participate.
and you can participate. Or you can call some numbers, 020-824-2175 and 0244-872-410.
Okay.
So you can contact us for
those
more
numbers.
information.
Okay.
Yes.
Thank you very much for coming in this
We're
morning.
also happy to have you.
My guests have been Reverend Tom and Ndanu,
Yeah.
who's a nutritionist, and with first Eva Ayande, who's a postgraduate student dietetic. Okay, thank you very much for your time this morning. We've been talking about what to pack for your children to take to school. I hope you've enjoyed the segment. Of course, as always, it was brought to you by Lipton Tea, inspiration flowing from nature. Do stay with us. I will be right back with you.